Hello, my friends. Earlier this week, I gave you a super secret challenge, and that was to take a look at the growth pattern we have here and solve for the 34th figure. And as an extra challenge, try and figure out an equation that would work for any figure number that you're creating, right? And this is what I do with my students. And by the way, it's also on my educational game, The Teacher's Dungeon. So these strategies are all wrapped up in my game, and I love it, and I hope you do too. Anyway, check it out because I think you will love it. Anyway, let's move on with this challenge here. So figure number one looks like this. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks to create it. The black are holes in the wall, okay? And then figure number two has 13 blocks with these 2 black holes in the wall, right? And figure number 3 looks like this, and it has 18 blocks. So what I do is I first teach my kids to create a T-chart, which I have right here, T-chart. And I've got my figure number here, so figure number 1, figure number 2, and figure number 3 right there. Then I have them count the number of blocks. So figure number 1 has 8 blocks, figure number 2 has 13 blocks, and figure number 3 has 18 blocks. From there, I have them look for the iterative function, which is simply the rate of growth. From 8 to 13, I'm going to take that and I'm simply going to add 5. From 13 to 18, I'm going to add 5 to that. And right there, bam, you've got your iterative function, my friend. Then I tell my students, the iterative function is the beginning of your formula. So you can take your figure number here, and I'm going to just go F for the figure number, and you can multiply that by your iterative function, which in this case is plus 5, right? So I'm going to multiply by 5. So I'm going to take F times 5. Now that doesn't get me all the way there. So next thing I do is I tell the kids, okay, let's go back up to the growth pattern and look at what's actually happening with the growth pattern and where this iterative function is. So I'm going to grab my purple here and let's mark that off. So the first one has 5 that are here, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's one group for F for the figure number, one group of 5. The second one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a second group of 5, right? That kind of goes in this U shape, right? And there's 2 groups of that, right? Perfect. This third one has 1 group, 2 groups, and then a third group, right? So figure number 3 has 3 groups of the plus 5, right? Now, the next thing I tell them is, hey, let's look for the constant. Now, the other thing, one more little bit of information. The iterative function is also your coefficient. So anytime you have a variable and you multiply by the coefficient, in this case, it's the times 5, right? Woo, good stuff, right? All right, so let's move on and let's figure out what the constant is. Well, this never changes. You got 1, 2, 3 right here. 1, 2, 3 right here. Doesn't change. 1, 2, 3 right here. So plus 3 is your constant that never changes. And that's the end of our formula. I got plus 3 right there. Bam! Now you can figure for any figure number that you want. You can figure out how many blocks are needed for that figure number, right? Well, let's move on and do that for the 34th figure. So all I got to do is come down here and I plug in 34 for the F. So I go 34 times 5 plus 3. And then I take 5 times 34. 5 times 4 is 20. I'm going to drop my 0, carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus that 2 is going to give you 17. And then I've got to add the 3. And I got 173. And bam! Right there is the number of blocks needed to create the 34th figure. And more importantly, this is a super cool way of teaching kids how to create an algebraic formula using the growth patterns, and bam! I hope you love it, my friends. Until next time, have a great day. Hey, my next one's going to be even harder. Trust me, you're going to love it. All right, bye for now.